Yes, perfect. Now, take more time to celebrate and we'll have the ceiling joining us.
Good job, everyone.
We did it!
Well, this is going pretty good, actually.
Let's figure out the next one.
Another circle bites the dust. This machine is awesome. It's like a giant lock.
Yes, we all saw it.
They moved down.
Probably. Ah, it's a riddle. We need this to figure out which buttons to press. Let me see.
Hey, I think I found something.
Look around, Frank. Maybe there's a key or something.
These symbols, I've seen them before.
Captain Obvious, reporting for duty.
It's a puzzle.
Yeah, I'm not moving.
Don't move.
Stop daydreaming, guys. Get cracking on this thing.
Oh, does she know you took it?
I like riddles, so I borrowed it from Nancy.
Wait, how come we have this? I don't remember picking this up.
Watch your step. This place is going to come down on our heads. What are you doing? Don't do that.
Gah!
Don't answer that one.
Did you ever doubt us?
A letter written in Francis Tuttle's own hand. An old secretary desk. Roaring 20s, maybe. Someone has been here recently. This bush looks strange. It's rusted shut.
You'll never realize anybody who calls this I know. I'm not even close to my birthday.
Yeah, right. You guys are registered with Richmond Hills.
Rusty metal, stay calm. Get yourself some rust, be gone.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
It's rusted shut. Maybe the Perrys have some rust remover I can borrow. These spots. It's covered in ergot fungus. No time to explore outside Salem's old town center until this case is closed. Roger Conant, the founder of Salem. He looks imposing. The shops aren't making a lot of business right now. The road has completely collapsed into the sinkhole. No wonder they closed it off. The ground is still crumbling.
Is she a street magician?
That's so cool.
How did she do that? What's going on here? I heard there's a new exhibition coming up at the museum.
Why are there protesters in a small town like this?
Let's visit the cemetery. I want a picture of Little Liberty.
Time is of the essence. Best take the car back to the Perry home, the Salem Museum. Prime address for local history and information on the infamous witch trials. Luminous infusions for your naturally grown remedies. Got a nice ring to it. A specter may be hanging over Salem, but that doesn't keep the town from getting into the Halloween spirit. The old Salem courthouse, the seat of justice.
Sweet.
We know she doesn't have anything to do with these crimes, but everyone thinks she does, and that's good enough to get her into serious trouble.
Do you talk to her?
Yeah.
Wait. You know May? Like, know her?
What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. There's no way she has anything to do with this.
I've heard the people here never leave their homes at night.
Ooh, should we take the witch tour?
Oh, should we take the witch tour?
Well, that's too bad.
Oh, Jason.
I must have just been doing errands by myself.
Jason?
Let me do it. It's my thing.
Still not working. Because she's going to be arrested for these crimes by the end of the day, unless we start coming up with answers.
What? May? Yeah. Why? What does she have to do with this?
Yeah, okay, we get it.
Yeah. I washed it last week. And the week before that. And the week before that. And the week...
You're sure?
That's Alicia Cole's car.
Jason, we confirmed with Alicia that she was running errands. But she was alone.
You're lying.
Oh, come on. Yes, I was.
We will ask her, Jason. Thanks.
Look, just ask her. She'll confirm it.
Uh-huh.
Dry cleaning and stuff.
What errands?
Helping her run errands.
What kind of work? So did you see anyone on the day the AW evidence was stolen from the judge's office?
No, because I wasn't here. I was working for Alicia. Yeah, you can see a lot of buildings from the square. It's a square.
I can.
Oh, look, I can see the courthouse from right here. Can you see it, Nancy?
Yeah.
It's a good vantage point of the whole town.
Well, yeah.
Do you know May Perry? Whose car is that parked in front of the courthouse? You weren't working for Alicia on the day the evidence was stolen. You seem to hang out a lot in the square.
So, what's up? You guys looking for directions or...
Boy.
Ladies.
What? Are you sure it was them?
I'm glad the Neighborhood Watch delivers justice to those who deserve it. Feels good to have crooks exposed for who they really are.
When you put it that way.
Are you kidding me? Tegan had the audacity to found the accused witches, trying to profit off the witch trials her own family started. Give me a break. The apple never falls far from the tree.
Well, sure, but that was so long ago. Who even cares about that stuff anymore?
You mean the Paris house, don't you?
Did you hear about the graffiti on the Perry house?
No, thank you.
So, if we haven't been on a date yet, does that mean we're going to go on one in the future?
I'm sorry. Do you remember?
Oh, right. I was...
Where were you on the night Hathorn House was burned?
Oh.
Definitely not.
Wait. We already went on a date?
How about 3 nights ago?
I'm open tomorrow night. Or tonight. Or right now. Ladies' choice.
Hey, buddy. She's done this many times already. She knows a thing or two about catching perps.
Yeah, you really think so?
Jason, Cupcake, just tell us what you were doing.
What? But she...
That's where I'd place my bets.
It's a steakhouse. I was there with my dad. Great steak, very expensive. He'll tell you. Primal cuts. Yeah, it's coming to me.
Jason, serious crimes have been committed. If you have anything to do with them or know anything about them, now is the time to tell us. Get yourself out from underneath this, because I assure you, you will be the one to take the fall.
What's the big holdup? The Perry brat has always been a little fire starter.
Don't worry. The truth will come to light now that the watch is on the job. Always does.
Thank goodness for that. Finally, people stepping up to the plate who aren't full of hot air.
Yes, you are correct, Jason. I could not.
I knew you couldn't resist.
They better book her before Halloween. I don't want to let the kids out trick-or-treating with an arsonist on the loose.
The system has gone soft. Lets them off the hook easy. Then everyone acts surprised about repeated offenders.
Only a matter of time until the Neighborhood Watch catches her red-handed.
About time. The whole town has been topsy-turvy since the day of the fire.
Come on, Drew.
That group is really chanting up a storm. What has them so angry? Darn, missed the opening hours. Better luck tomorrow. It'll be more useful to explore the graveyard with a tour guide.
Okay, I'm officially exhausted. Let's head back to the Perry house, okay? Maybe we can learn something about the town. Might help May's case. Now that I've toured this town, I can see why everyone would want to protest. Whole place seems kind of morbid, right? Anyway, can we see the judge now?
Heard the Neighborhood Watch launched their own investigation into the Perry girl. The cops are doing zip, nada.
I'll be right there.
You need to come here, quickly. Something's happened.
Tegan, I was able to rule out some...
I think we should head right for the judge. What do you think?
Maybe check out the witch tour? Something might pop out at us. Sounds good. Let's go meet the judge.
The judge's office is in that building. If we want to go see him first, dive into the case, the museum is over there, across the square. That's where we can get the Real Witches tour tickets.
You think it's a coincidence that the former home of the Hathorns was set on fire?
Interesting.
Ever since then, ghost sightings have gone through the roof. Salem is now considered the most haunted place in the country.
Is there any evidence of such a coven?
About 8 years back, there were rumors of a coven, that they performed a ritual to return the dead witches to Salem to seek out their revenge before the witches moved on. I don't think she burned down the Hathorn house, if that's what you're trying to get at. People with mundane minds look for mundane explanations. May is a troubled girl, and sometimes such girls get blamed for things that were not their...
But you've heard the rumors about her.
Yes, I know her too. Not spoken to her for a long time either.
And May?
That was a long time back. We don't talk much now.
Not well. We're staying with Tegan. I figured there was some history between you two.
Of course. Not well. If you're looking for them, Tegan is at the museum. She works there.
So you know the Perrys?
Little Liberty. A highlight of my tour. Many people come here just to get a picture of it. It is said to portray Abigail Hathorn helping the accused witches escape the trials. Some even believe that Abigail's ghost still walks the forest surrounding the Hathorn house, her twisted soul now dragging the living into the afterlife. Did you girls know that Salem is haunted? There's a ghost here. If you go on my tour, you'll learn where you can find it. I was out of town. Good. Because I've already spoken with them.
Oh no, it's nothing like that. We're just curious tourists.
You look a little young to be working for the police, dear.
How about the night that the Hathorn house was burned?
Most nights. It gets busier around Halloween. And I'm sure you can figure out why. Although, if you take my self-guided tour, I promise you will learn at least one secret about being a witch.
A code? I thought bureaucracy and rules were for persecutors.
A witch never reveals her secrets. It's against the witch code.
How else could the fire have started? Do you really believe some modern witch coven unleashed ghosts on Salem? Have you lived in Salem for long? There's this statue in the cemetery. How often do you do this show? How did you perform that trick?
We don't need permission. We don't live by the rules.
Well, we have the tickets. Let's go see the lame witch of Salem. Oops, I mean real witch.
I think witches are kind of cool. And you never know what you'll learn. Come on.
Ugh, are you serious? Yeah, let's go.
Born and raised.
And so, you were here.
How far back do these reparations have to go? It's been hundreds of years. Nobody owes these loudmouths squat. It's a bid for attention and money.
A true witch is not made with pieces of paper. She is born to it and will feel the call. Bureaucracy is for persecutors.
Didn't they find proof for their claim? It's only fair.
So to become a witch, do I need to take a test or get a diploma?
Must every response be outrage? I miss the peace and quiet.
Rumor has it, all our evidence for a claim to the estate has gone missing. Stolen right from the courthouse. And the judge himself refuses to speak to us. He hasn't even made an official statement regarding the burglary. It's an injustice!
Well, if you're doing it legally, then why the protest march?
Accused witches. Hathorne House is a symbol of the state's oppression. Judge Hathorne bought it cheap after he murdered our ancestors so he could build his mansion. And now we can legally take it back. Only the greatest injustice to happen in Salem since 1692. They're gonna give the house to the state.
AW? What does it stand for? Excuse me, what exactly are you guys protesting?
Welcome on my tour. Also, did you know that Salem has more ghost sightings than any other city in North America? If you want to learn why, you should go on my tour. That's why they say, don't be out past midnight in Salem, because the dark may reach out and take you. The dark is the unknown, a plane of existence that vibrates just underneath the light. But if you were in a place like Salem, a place where a painful history permeates every surface, every crack, every brick, and every tomb, the dark will appear. Usually when you least expect it. You can even see it at night. The world is composed of two equal parts, dark and light. The light we see every day. It's the trees, the people, the birds. It's our world. I heard there was not a single living soul in the house when it started burning. Keyword, living. And if you want to learn about being a witch, come forward.
Sometimes.
Do you regularly fly to Europe for investigations?
Visiting a spooky old castle. You'd have liked it.
What were you doing there?
Thank you. Now, if any of you are interested in the real history of the witches of Salem, I provide self-guided tours through some of my favorite locations in town. And perhaps you too will see one of the restless dead. It is said that in Salem, a coven of witches settled in recent years, set on revenge for the deaths of the Salem witches. Their ritual, one midnight on Halloween, unleashed the angry spirits of the past. Most exist now only in secret, and they may be standing among you even now. Ritual, mystery, magic. The truth is, witches are real. They have always been real. They are alive and well. They are powerful, carrying the secrets of the world beyond the one we see. The world would have you believe witches were not real. I'm not talking about old, ugly women who curse their neighbors and fly on broomsticks.
Oh, this should be interesting.
Visitors! By now you know the story of the witches of Salem. Those poor souls were caught in a time of fear and greed, and they paid the price. They may have died, but witchcraft lives on in Salem.
Maybe that's a good thing. I could ask them a few questions.
Can these guys get any louder? They're going to wake the dead next door.
Well, with her history, she's bound to already be in the sights of the neighborhood watch, so we'll find out soon enough.
Now this accused witches group shows up from out of nowhere and thinks they're entitled to the Hathorne property.
My thoughts exactly. Wouldn't surprise me. Creeping around back alleys with her hood head down? Where there's smoke, there's fire.
May Perry, you don't think she'd do it again, do you? She was so young.
Fire at Hathorne House. We all know certain renegades in this town know something or two about fire.
Thief? There was a thief?
The thief in Austria used the same kind of stage magic she's using.
The state killed us, and now the state robs us! Give us back what's ours! Our ancestors have rights! Stop trying to erase our history! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
Sure, yeah, of course.
Hey, Olivia! Can I borrow one of these lamps? I don't think that's a good idea right now. Sure, I'll give it to her.
Can you give this to Tegan for me, please? We used to be really good friends, and maybe this will, I don't know, remind her of that. Can you give it to her? I can't do it. I need your help. Hey, yes, can you do me a favor? I found something, and
That's great, Olivia.
I'm done with tea. Gave it up. Now I'm just straight cola. All the sugar, all the caffeine. I am wired up like a 10,000-volt power line, but I have not seen one single ghost today. Hey, Nancy.
The carefully researched genealogy of several accused witches. Their names weren't fully cleared until 2001. Someone's a busy bee. Old court protocols, ancestry records. Tegan is really digging deep into the witch trials. The figure of a Puritan woman accused of being a witch. These were ordinary people, just like anyone else.
Right. You're right. Yeah. A lot going on right now. I'll do it later. Yeah. Later.
Wait. It's not the same. There's someone else here. Younger, looks like they're hiding. Who is that? All of them together. They look so happy. This looks like the one I found before.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Hey, Olivia! Can I borrow one of these lamps?
Oh, thank you. I just want her to know she isn't alone.
Olivia, hi. How are you feeling? Scented candles. Pretty standard gift shop material. Wait, broomstick? What kind of fragrance is that? Closed off. Looks like they're preparing a new installation. Whoa, originals? These books must be hundreds of years old. No wonder they're restricted. I hope their information is still open to the public, at least. Hey there, girl. Can't tell if you're supposed to be cute or creepy. Oh, cute. Even the museum is getting in on the Halloween festivities. There's something off about that bookcase. Need a closer look. Sad that even children are named in the list of those accused witches, like Abigail Johnson, just 11. Everything you could ever want to know about Salem's history, from the Namkiag people to the Great Salem Fire of 1914.
Excuse me?
Where's the water from?
Well, I like it.
Gross.
It was a matcha.
What kind of tea?
Coffee at breakfast, fair trade, obviously. Smoothie at Kale Me Crazy. And tea?
Not very fungal.
Kale salad, chickpeas, raisins, with Thousand Witches dressing.
Uh-huh. What did you have?
Well, I had a breakfast cantaloupe, and then I had lunch at Kale Me Crazy. It's this vegan place.
Just humor us.
Eat? Why? A fungus? What? But how?
It's a fungus.
Ergot. Really? What's that?
Anything to drink yesterday. What did you eat yesterday? We think we were poisoned by ergot.
Yeah? How'd you know?
Burn, right? Like pins and needles.
I didn't sleep at all last night. I still have that ghost in my head and my hands.
How are you feeling, Olivia? We don't know. But we're going to find out.
But why?
Alicia has been poisoning you, Lauren.
Alicia?
Yeah?
So you all drank the tea?
Yeah, them. In the cemetery. Joe wanted to try my tea.
Boys.
Lauren's? I went to try to talk to her about the ghosts. She made me tea. It was better than the conversation. I took my tea to go and then ended up sharing it with the Hardy brothers. I ran into them.
Whose faucet?
It was just normal faucet water. Some people filter. I don't have the time. Besides, Lauren has the best matcha. You can't tell it's unfiltered.
The water that you made your tea with. No. We found this in your water supply.
What are you doing?
Hey, look! A list of mysterious symbols.
No, we're not. We found this ergot in your water supply, using blueprints we found in Alicia Cole's office.
Are you?
It's you. You're trying to poison me.